What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Media Studio at the Cinema Center at South by Southwest 2025. I have the honor of welcoming the team behind The Dutchman to the studio right now. I will start by saying huge congratulations on your movie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I know about the movie. Some people out there might know about the source material, but just in case anyone needs a little Dutchman 101, Andre, would you mind doing the honors and giving us a brief synopsis?
Yeah, sure. So Dutchman was a play in 1964 written by Amiri Baraka. At the time, his name was Leroy Jones. And it was the seminal play that ended up launching the Black Arts movement in the 60s. This was a group of poets and playwrights that had come together and essentially launched this sort of new arts renaissance that birthed its way out of Harlem. And Amiri Baraka is really credited as being the founder and godfather of that. And so the play Dutchman not only launched that movement, but launched his career and has been this seminal Obie award-winning play for 60 years. And so it was really a great opportunity to be able to bring it to the screen.
I was reading in our press notes, it took you a good while to get the rights to the source material. Can you maybe kind of walk us through what was holding you back and then what happened that finally got you the rights to make this movie?
Oh, yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's really just sort of part of being a producer. You pursue rights for something that you want to make. And I just don't ever give up for it, So this was well over 6 years of pursuing these rights. And really what ended up happening is that a sort of wonderful coincidence that the Baraka family, because Amiri Baraka had passed away in 2013, I think, and 2014, and the family had actually seen the premiere for one of my other films, a documentary called The One and Only Dick Gregory that premiered at Tribeca Film Festival in 2021. I didn't know they were in the audience. And so I found out afterwards, and they put two and two together. They wanted to talk to me. And I said, yeah, this is what I want to do with this film. And they said yes.
I love that. So you get the rights, and then all of a sudden you have to take on this like gargantuan task of adapting iconic source material, brilliant source material. But what space did you find in it that you thought you could bring your own unique voice to and kind of make this film version your own?
Yeah, I actually think that, it's a very simple structure. So it's two people on a train. That's what the play is. It's a one-act play. It's two people on a train. Partially, I was doing it because I thought it might be an easy debut. It's like, how hard can it be to shoot two people on a train?
Oh, I got a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, and but it's one act, so it's 55 minutes. What I often find is that the thinnest narrative through line, or the thinnest dramatic through line that you have in a story, the more drama you can actually mine from it. It's when it gets a little too complicated, there's too many moving parts, that it's hard to sort of keep focus on the drama. And what's at the core of it is André Holland's character Clay, who is really suffering an identity crisis. And I wanted to know more about Clay, which you don't know in the play. So in the film, that gives us an opportunity to expand outside of the train, learn who he is as a person. In my story, he's married to Kaya, played by Zazie Beetz, and then his identity is constantly, under challenge, under scrutiny from Kate's character Lula.
Many questions about expanding the world and all of your characters, but I wanted to stick with the two of you first, both Andre, because I was reading, you two went to school together, and I don't know. I just love when people find each other and stick together and kind of lift each other every step of the way in this industry. So do you each remember the very first thing you saw in the other that made you think to yourself way back when, I have to work with this person one day?
Yeah, he's looking at me because he didn't have that thought. I'm messing with it. We did go to school together. He was in the acting department. I was in the dramatic writing department, in the film department. And we actually met through like a mutual friend just in school. And there was a project that I had that I wanted him to do a reading for, and he wasn't able to do it, and so we just, stayed friends over time, but we'd never worked together. This was the first time that we actually worked together. We'd always see each other at different parties and events and we always see each other at Commons Oscar party. It was like every year was a thing that we would run into each other, and I saw in Andre just a true thespian, and this is a very heady, very dramatic, dialogue-heavy work that really required someone of his acting prowess and caliber to do, and so it made a lot of sense. He was my first and only call.
You speak the truth there, and you crush the role. Do you want to send some flowers back his way?
Yeah. I mean, I saw a bunch of your work as well, man, and I've always admired it. And I'm a big believer in community, and like creating community. And I feel like we were very fortunate to be a part of that ecosystem at NYU, wherein a lot of people.
Right time,
Yeah, we're doing like really interesting work. So I'm glad that this is an extension of that, man. So thank you for your kind words, and thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You surround yourself with the best. I'll just speak Love Brooklyn into existence at this table as well. All good things with the projects you work on. So I'll start to get into characters now. Kate and André, I'll throw this question your way because the success of this movie kind of hinges on, I guess, like your chemistry, your cadence, and just like how much of a spark the two of you create together. So can you each tell me the first thing you saw in the other that made you say, like, yes, you are the Clay to my Lula, and vice versa?
Can I say first? I just want to send some love to you because, like, in the play, I think Clay often gets the like credit because he has the big explosive monologue at the end, but it's really Lula who's driving the action. I mean, Lula it's like her play all the way up until the very end, and I think it takes like an extraordinarily gifted artist to be able to carry that with such like specificity and beauty. And girl, you killed it.
Yeah,
you killed it. So I mean,
such a nice
compliment.
hats off.
Well, I was lucky because Andre was already attached as Clay, and I did not go to drama school. I don't know very many plays. I was a musical theater nerd, but I'm not very educated in the world of plays, and so I was not familiar with Dutchman. But I was very familiar with André Holland's work, and so when it was offered to me, I was just so excited to get the opportunity to work with him. And then I read the script and was terrified, but I decided to say yes. So that's how I became involved in it. It was really just because I was so excited to work with André Holland.
Do not blame you one bit. So I want to talk a little bit about finding Lula because it's like a little bit of a difficult character to kind of put your finger on. So I was wondering if you kind of, I guess, had an aha moment, something you did either in prep or on set that made you say to yourself, like, I get who not only Lula is, but like my Lula is.
Yeah, interesting because obviously she's been played many times before since it was a well-known play. It just took a lot of preparation, and I did a lot of things that I've really never done before for preparing for a role, which was really fun. I really worked for a while leading up to the actual filming, and once we actually got to set, it was really all about connecting with Andre and just finding our rhythm together. But yeah, it was really just all about, and I don't really want to give specifics because it's all just embarrassing actor things. But there's like animal work involved, and she is a hyena, so like there was a lot of hyena talk in my house with my kids and just stuff like that. That's as much as I'll give you. But
I'll take it. I am fascinated by all of that. That's why I sit here and admire all of your hard work because, I don't know, I'd be embarrassed. I can't do stuff like that.
It's really embarrassing.
Pays off big time, though. Zazie and Aldis, I'll go to you next because your characters are new additions to the film version. So I guess what kind of conversations did you have with Andre in terms of how their addition impacts Clay's story and kind of reshapes this world in a new way for the screen?
Well, I think what is sort of our characters provide is an opportunity for context of, where Clay is at. Also, the character is older in this script than he is in the play, which I do think also, does change elements of it. But I think it just we provide a little bit more of, like why would a man like him who does seem to have it all together kind of fall apart so dramatically? And so I felt like for my character Kaya, my whole thing was the focus of our relationship and And so, you know, André Holland and Gaines, we all talked a lot about our backstory, how our characters got to where we got to, and how that informs sort of his relationship with Lula. And then, you know, my involvement in partaking in that. So yeah, it was like fitting into the sort of the structure of the play where, you know, where Kaya would come into as well.
Yeah, I'm piggybacking off of that because, you know, that's exactly it. She hit it on the head that we basically represent challenges in Clay's journey. And I think the introduction of those characters and what they represent, especially today, helps clarify, especially for this audience, helps clarify some of those things that we're going through, because a lot of us in our own right are on a very similar journey as Clay and can't really see it, you know. So the thing I love about our characters, in particular, like with Kaya, the thing that I really enjoy is I think the relationship as an audience member forces me to ask, you know, about the specificity of complexity in terms of what they're dealing with, what they're going through is played so beautifully by the two of them, because it makes one think what is right, what is wrong, or what does compromise actually look like. As one is finding himself through this all, what do? Do you choose yourself or do you choose the issue? You know, do you choose the person in front of you? How do you choose the right answer? As far as Clay and Warren, where they are, I mean, you know, they're buddies, they're guys, they're bros, but at the same time, there's something more important to address than maybe what Clay is going through at the moment for Warren, for the whole situation, for everything that's bigger. So I think their relationships really hone in on sort of the nucleus of what Clay is going through and trying to figure out what it means to choose self over other or to define self. And the thing that I never mentioned to you yet as far as Kaya, and this I think is also a really brilliant part of her, is that she has her own independent journey outside of.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
So I don't give away no cookies or secrets, but it endears you to the both of them and what they're going through in a different way towards the end, because you're like, I'm rooting for you. I want you to make it. Find that peace, but find it. But it really is quite a beautiful unfolding, but also really entertaining to watch, just because it makes you think about the things that you're going through from a different perspective.
Well, I also think what's interesting is I feel like the Kaya Clay, I feel like all of us are kind of have been in or are currently in like very long-term relationships, and so I feel like we were all like,
this came from real experience.
Yeah, we're all like, well, when my partner does this, blah, blah, blah. And it was like just very interesting to kind of really, I think we were all able to not relate directly necessarily, but to just like relate to navigating relationships. So
Warren's name is mentioned in the play, and it was again just like, well, who is this guy? What is he like? And so that's where some of the fun came in, is being able to manufacture that, you know. And this party is mentioned in the play, so we wanted to go to the party. That's what, you know, movies can do.
So now we've got these characters. I got to jump to the other character, which is the train. I got a couple questions about this train. One particular thing you said in our production notes, and you kind of said it earlier a little too, you totally misjudged the task of making a film that focuses on two people on a train. Can you tell me maybe some production challenges you ran into that, you know, are attributed to misjudging that task?
Yeah, my producing partner, John, is laughing off stage. That's really where it started. It was like we wanted to make an authentic New York film, and so it was about finding this train. And we got, you know, not only the blessing of being able to shoot in New York during the time, because this was also during the strike, both strikes, and the fact that the train that we got was the train that's out of circulation now, but came into circulation in 1964 when the play came out, when the play originally came out in 1964. So it had this very interesting kind of striations along the side of it that just made for a beautiful tableau, and I wanted to shoot that train. The production challenges, though, is metal on metal squeaking constantly going on that both Andre and Kate had to act their ways through, and did very beautifully, and actually made my job somewhat easier that way to be able to cut. And really just sort of dealing with the motion itself of the, of the train. Both Kate and I have motion sickness, and so it was like worrying about this train moving back and forth. We're going between stations, one to the other. It was like being up in space a little bit, but it worked out.
The idea of you shooting on a working, moving New York City subway train. I don't think I've ever really heard of another production doing that.
No, we had, the MTA, they were fantastic. They actually had MTA engineers operating these trains, moving us back and forth. It was 9 cars of a subway and subway train. And we just ended up making it work. I mean, that's what we wanted, and that's what you feel in the film.
I'm a New Yorker. I appreciate that authenticity. I always know when it's not New York and not done the right way. Another thing that was mentioned in our notes that I really wanted to bring up because I was curious about this is the choice to use a partially cracked 50 millimeter lens. Why did you do that, and how can we see that informing the visuals in the film?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a quote, a Carl Jung quote that I used at the beginning of the film, which is who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. And it was really all about trying to use some of those old lenses deliberately on these very new cameras to create and the sort of dreamlike kaleidoscopic effects at certain moments in the film, especially in the party, especially during some of those flashbacks. And a lot of the flashbacks we also shot on 8 millimeter and 16 millimeter cameras, and just doing some mixed media so that we can feel not only the texture of their relationships between Clay Kaya and Clay and Lula, but also feel the city, feel New York, and you really are able to get visuals out of these lenses and colors and things like this that you're just not able to do out of other lenses. And so we wanted to be able to use that to try to highlight the whole tableau at the end of the day.
Very effective choice right there. I have to let you all go soon. So now it is time for the inevitable. I must ask some questions about upcoming projects. Kate, I'm going to come your way first. I feel like you had a couple of things, but the one that I settled on was bucking Fastard, because I'm excited that you're going to work with Rooney. You're working with a filmmaking legend, but also I just love spoonerism. So I saw that title and I said, I have to ask her about that particular one. More seriously, though, it's a big deal that you're working with your sister. So I guess actually, I'll phrase it this way. Have you ever been presented with that kind of opportunity, the two of you before? And if you have, why not then, but now with this project?
We have been offered things before, but Werner Herzog never offered us anything before. And the title is the best title ever. So, and we're both, equally, we're both fans of Werner's and have been forever. And so we just were so excited that the script was as unique as we had hoped that it was. And, we're playing twins. It's a very special opportunity. I'm very excited about it.
Coolest thing ever. I love that. Zazie, for you, I'm going to go to Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, because that's a big deal, because it's Gore Verbinski's first movie in 8 years or something. I guess, what was it like working with Gore as a director, and maybe something about that experience that makes you think, I'm so glad he's back behind the lens again?
Yeah, I before anything, honestly, the script just really roped me in. It's just such an incredible, dynamic, and fun story, but also tragic. And the cast attached is also just one, with Sam Rockwell, Juno Temple, Haley Lou Richardson, and Michael Pena, and Asim Chowdhury. Anyway, it's a great cast, and I just felt, it was one of those rare projects where I started reading it 10 pages in. I was like, there's no way I'm not doing this no matter what. And I just was like, I will play a flea on a bed. I don't care. Put me in this thing. And so, it was a wonderfully fulfilling experience. And I think Gore has a great sort of ability to, I don't know, marry like this like big world sort of, creating these big worlds, but still having focus in on the character experience. It was just so wonderful, and I can't wait for it to come out. I have no idea when, though.
I'm quite pumped, eagerly awaiting.
Yeah.
One more question, Aldis, you're getting it, because Cross is a huge hit. I had a feeling when we were talking at New York Comic Con, I'm like, I like these first few episodes. I know it's going to catch on and really spark with people. And you had at that point already been greenlit for season 2. So in an effort to tease what's to come, can you maybe tell me something about season 2 that will give people more of what they love from season 1, but then also something unique about season 2 that gives it its own definition?
You know, I wish I could.
I got to try at least.
I wish I could tell you something, but I can't tell you nothing at all.
Fair enough.
Y'all out here trying to get me fired.
I mean, no.
But it is, season 2 is definitely, I would say, far more expansive, far more immersive when it comes to characters, relationships, and, you know, you get to learn a lot more about some of the folks that you love from the books, but we're expansive in a very different way. And it's a wilder ride than season 1.
Okay, I'll take that. I look forward to circling back around, having another conversation about that show. I dug season 1 quite a bit. Also dug this movie, something else, fantastic ensemble, beautiful work behind the lens. Huge congratulations on The Dutchman. Enjoy celebrating it at South by Southwest.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.